to join us on our show today. What is it like being Mother Nature?
It is one of the most wonderful things in the whole wide world because I get to help Wiarton Willie predict the weather. You see, he thinks he does it all by himself, but I have a hand in it.
Well, what exactly do you do?
Well, I have the staff and I have the control over the big buttons.
Now, the outfit. Where does this come from? This is absolutely wonderful. It's really quite fitting. I always assumed Mother Nature would be in green. I don't know why. I don't know where the pink came from.
Mother Nature decided that she needed a coat of spring, and so she went to the sunset and checked out the colors there and decided that they were just her colors.
And the sorrels?
Well, we must be practical these days, girls.
Now, how does the role of Mother Nature play, I guess, in Groundhog Day actually on the 2nd? What do you do?
I'm part of the entourage that welcomes Willie into the world of humans, and there's a whole brigade of people who dress in tuxedos, and this is, of course, so he won't see his shadow, because most of the people want to have an early spring. And then once we have welcomed him into the world, then the festivities begin and the fun of the day begins.
You're also an author of a book, which I just happen to have here. And it's called Carved in Stone, The Legend of Willie. It's quite a thick book. What's this all about?
Willie decided that he wanted to have his autobiography written, and of course, because he can't write himself, he sort of commissioned me to do it for him.
Well, it's a wonderful, wonderful book, a lot of stories that you can actually get when you come up to the festival. We hope you come up here this Sunday, but if you're looking for other things to do this weekend, check out our Heaven and Earth calendar of events. Thanks, Mother Nature, for being with us today.
Thank you for coming to visit.
He and his shadow, Wiarton Willie, Willie, silly Willie, Willie be a friend of mine.
So no Groundhog show would be complete if we didn't have the biological side of groundhogs. And joining us now is biologist Mark Wazinski, who's going to give us the inside scoop on, well, groundhogs. So here we are. We have a perfect specimen of a groundhog. Does this kind of represent Wiarton Willie?
Well, that's a pretty good representation of Wiarton Willie. Yep, he's a pretty special groundhog. He's white and pretty stout.
Love the pink bow tie and cummerbund. But most importantly, you know, we have, we're in honor of Willie. We're kind of, you know, doing the nose thing. It does have some kind of representation of, you know, and you said it was anatomically correct?
Sure, this is about as anatomically correct as you're going to get with a fake nose. And, you know, you would want to have a perspective from a groundhog's point of view. So looking down the nostrils from this side gives you a pretty good, you know, experience on that side.
I feel kind of like a groundhog. You feel like a groundhog?
No, I don't feel like a groundhog, but yeah, that would be good to have the teeth this size. The nose is about right. It's nice and stubby, so you can crawl through the ground.
So what are we expecting this Sunday from Willie, you know, from a biological kind of point of view of, you know, you're the expert. Tell us about it.
Well, from Willie's point of view, what we're going to be looking for is a good sunny day to see whether or not he can see his shadow, and if it's going to be a bad day, then he's going to do like you would want to do, which would be head back down the hole and sleep for another few weeks. So that would be good. So we're gonna check that out. We're expecting him to be a little groggy, maybe a bit grumpy. You know, if you just woke up from 4 months off, you'd be a little grumpy and be having a bad hair day as well, potentially a bad nose day.
Well, I guess we'll have to see. It's going to be an exciting day here up in Wiarton and with our little Willie guy. So here's to a fun Groundhog Day. What do you think?
You bet. Wiarton knows groundhogs.
Did you know that the Lions Club have been running the Wiarton Willie weekend celebration for over 30 years? We invite you all to come and join us and have fun on this happy weekend. Thank you.
Last year we had heard that there were death threats against Wiarton Willie, so we thought we'd come to the OPP and find out what they're going to do about it this year if the same thing happens. What are you going to do?
We haven't had any threats this year so far, but I'm sure something will come up afterwards. On the day that he makes this prediction, we'll have a couple officers there to act as his bodyguards, and if the need be or people ask for it as handlers, we would probably even be able to get him some body armor that day.
Oh, thank goodness. You know, do people get a little upset if, you know, Willie predicts the wrong way, that we're going to have a longer winter?
That was the case last year. Some people got upset with the prediction that it was going to be short, and it turned out to be quite a bit longer than he had anticipated, and people get upset with that kind of stuff.
Well, we're glad you're on the job and you're looking after Willie to make sure that he's going to be okay. Thank you very much, Officer Barton, for helping us out today.
You're welcome.
By the way, Wiarton isn't only just famous for Wiarton Willie. Canada's first female licensed pilot, Eileen Volek, was born in little old Wiarton in 1908.
Well, this is the moment we've all been waiting for. This is where Wiarton Willie lives. And right now joining us is the guy who looks after Wiarton Willie, is Sam Brower. And your wife Jenny and your 6 kids are responsible for looking after our fine fellow furried friend. What's that all about?
Well, he came to us back in 1989. Wiarton had a little ad in the paper, Wiarton Willie needs a new home. And we responded to that ad and provided him with a home here.
That's a great spot for a groundhog. How's that compare to, you know, in the wild? They don't get a nice little house and hay and straw and stuff like that?
He's worry-free. He doesn't have to worry about hunters. He doesn't have to worry about wolves. He doesn't have to worry about owls, although one year we did have a large horned owl land on the pen at the back there looking for breakfast, but he couldn't get in, so.
Well, what is it like looking after Willie? Is he a finicky eater, or is he, you know, what does he eat?
He's a vegetarian. He won't eat anything meat. We do have people sometimes throw things in there that, like licorice or candy, but he won't bother. At first we were worried about it, but he doesn't bother. He just leaves it. We just have to clean it up. He's similar to feeding a rabbit. We keep alfalfa pellets in there for him, and he just loves a slice of apple. He loves his carrots. He gets carrots every day, and usually a slice of apple. If we have cabbage, the core of the cabbage goes to the groundhogs. If we have cauliflower, the core goes to the groundhogs. So he loves dandelions. People pick dandelions from wherever they can. We don't have to put any weed feeder on this portion of the lawn because people pick the dandelions, the groundhogs eat them.
Well, that's pretty handy. Now, he's quite the celebrity, and sometimes what goes along with celebrity is a bit of an ego. Well, does Willie have a bit of an ego?
Well, he struts right around in there. He doesn't mind when people come to visit him, and we do have sometimes 60 to 100 people in the summertime per day come out to visit him, hardly believing that they've seen a white groundhog because he does have the pink eyes and just like a genuine albino.
What is actually going to happen on Sunday? Sunday is the big day when people from actually all over the world, I understand, are curious to see what Willie does. What is that day like?
Well, that's Willie's big debut. He comes up to forecast the weather for us, and the town dignitaries, they don the white tuxedos. I myself have a white tuxedo on, and we chant for the groundhog, and he'll come up and give us a weather forecast.
And how accurate has he been?
He's been about 90% accurate. I know last year he was kind of a little bit off, and we had an awfully long winter after he predicted an early spring. But we're kind of attributing that to possibly the leap year, you know.
Maybe. Well, that's nice of you to help him out there. Now, I know we're not actually going to see Willie because he comes out on the 2nd, but can we kind of take a peek at where he
Well,
lives?
I can give you a little sneak preview, and you can see where he's sleeping, but we won't disturb him.
Well, what have you done to actually make him more comfortable to get him through these winter months here?
In the fall, we take about 4 bales of straw, and we just ruffle him up in there, and he burns himself underneath there.
That didn't wake him up, did it? That noisy
Oh,
door?
I don't think so.
So this is where he lives. So where is he?
He's somewhere underneath that straw.
Sound asleep. So what will be happening to him over the course of this week? Is he going to start waking up? Like, how does he know that February 2nd he's got to get up?
Well, he will get up from time to time if it warms up during the winter, and we'll see him sitting on this little rock over here in the window. But if it stays as cold as it is today, Ontario Hydro might have to help him out a little bit with a bit of heat, and he'll be up.
So what does it actually mean if Willie sees his shadow? What are we expecting on Sunday?
Well, if Willie sees his shadow, we'll have 6 more weeks of winter, and if he doesn't see his shadow, we'll have an early spring.
Personally, I want Willie not to see his shadow. I don't want any more winter. How about you?
Oh, I would rather that he's seen his shadow. I enjoy the winter, and I snowmobile, so we can use another 6 weeks of winter.
Oh, you're a crazy man. Thank you very much, Sam, for your time today. I'm looking after Willie, and here's to a wonderfully successful Groundhog Day.
Oh, Wiarton Willie, Willie, nilly, silly Willie, Willie be a friend of mine.
Thanks, guys. Well, that's it for this edition of Heaven and Earth. I've got my souvenirs. We've had a great time here in Wiarton. If you're looking for something to do this weekend, maybe make the trip up to see if Willie's going to see his shadow or not. Anyway, Jill will be back next week. I'm Morgan Elliott. Have a great weekend and happy Groundhog Day.
One prognostication that we seek is from Willie, the only one we trust. Willie, this winter's been a bust. It snowed and blowed and caused us grief. You're the only one who brings relief. Willie, Wiarton Willie. Willie, Wiarton Willie.